Okay, yesterday we talked about our circles of connection, meaning what we are connecting to in the stories that we're reading. And remember, when we can connect to a story, we can understand it better. And we talked about schema. Remember, we said Six Flags. We knew a lot of things about Six Flags. We had a lot of schema in our brains. But in Macaulay, we didn't know anything about it, never even heard about it. So did we have any schema? No, so we didn't really understand anything about that word. But we understood a lot about Six Flags. So, in our schema that we have, in the middle here we have our text, what we are reading. And then the next circle is text to self, thinking about your own life. That's the schema in your head already. Then you might connect to the story by text to text. Maybe the story makes you think of another story or a movie that you saw. And then we had a connection of text to world, which is thinking about big ideas, lessons, or the world around me. So we're going to read our story this week, and we're going to talk about connections in our story. Now remember yesterday with Lily and the purple plastic purse that we said Lily was mean and it wasn't good, and that was a text to world. That reminded us that we needed to be nice. That was a world connection. We said the music played in her purse reminded me of when I played music with my uncle. That was a text to self, that schema we have in our brain. And then when we saw the pictures, it reminded us of the book Chrysanthemum that we've already read. And that's a text to text. It reminded us of a book. So those are connections. So let's turn to our story for this week. On page 149, everyone turn to the Great Fuzz Frenzy. Okay, the Great Fuzz Frenzy. Violet, no! Violet, where's the ball? Down it went. Boink, boink, thump, thump, rumble, rumble. Run for your life! Watch out below! Help, help, help! So my connection is this page reminds of me, makes me smile because it reminds me of playing fetch with my dog. I can always tell when she's lost the ball because she digs around and barks and looking, or she starts moving her head real fast. So that, me thinking about my dog, is that a text to text? Text to self, or text to world? Think in your brain. Is that text to text, text to self, or text to world? What is it, Gracie? Text to self, because I'm thinking of myself. Very, very good. Okay? And then you might think about even a time that you got hit by a ball, or a ball went down the street or something when you lost your ball. That could be a text to self. Plunk. There it sat, perfectly still. The prairie dogs waited perfectly still. Okay, so plunk's the ball the sound makes when it lands on the ground. It tells me that this ball has gotten to the bottom of the hole. There it is. We talked about that the other day. Slowly they crept out, inch by inch, dog by dog. What is it? A thing? A good thing or bad thing? A round thing? A strange thing? A scary thing? What should we do? Don't touch it. Shh. Is it alive? Stand back, boomed a voice. Did I skip a page? No, I didn't? Okay. You act like gutless groundhogs, afraid of your own shadow. Oh, no. It's Big Bark. Big Mouth is more like it. He's the meanest dog around. I think he left town. Well, I'm back, growled Big Bark, so out of my way. Let me have a look. But before anyone could move, little Pipsqueak raced past Big Bark, reached out, and poked the big round thing. No! The crowd yelled. It's fuzzy, said Pip. Oh, the crowd gasped. There's that word. Everybody gasped. A tiny piece of fuzz was caught in Pip's claw. She looked at it. She turned it, sniffed it, then she put it on her head. Look at me! There she is. Oh, the crowd sighed. Quit hamming it up, you half-pinted hamster, snarled Big Bark. I'm in charge. Has anyone ever told you that they were in charge? Yeah. That would be a text-to-self connection. Maybe that makes you think of it. But those prairie dogs didn't listen. They had to have fuzz. I like it. Me too. I want some. Do you? Oh, yes, so do I. So do we. So do they. Big Bark, move over. Get out of our way. They charged past him and grabbed at the fuzz. The prairie dogs pulled it, puffed it, stretched it, fluffed it, tugged it, twirled it, spiked it, swirled it. They fuzzed their ears, their heads, their noses. They fuzzed their feet, their tails, their toeses. Big Bark was beside himself. Listen to me, you ridiculous rodents! Stop this fuzzy foolishness! But those prairie dogs didn't listen. They were busy being hot dogs and silly dogs, corny dogs and frilly dogs, top dogs, funny dogs, super dogs, bunny dogs. You're all nuts, you squirrely fuzz freaks, yelled Big Bark, storming off. Has anyone ever called you a name?
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's another text to self you can make. News of the fuzz spread from hole to hole, burrow to burrow, town to town. Soon, prairie dogs from everywhere were coming to see that fuzz. They came, they saw, they picked. So when I read this page, I thought about how news often spreads. One person tells the news to a few people, then those people run around and tell other people, then before you know it, everybody knows the news, right? Yeah, everyone has heard about it. So this is a connection about text to self, text to text, or text to world. From thinking about how everyone goes around. What do you think, Grant? Yes, text the world is something that happens outside in our community. Very good. They twisted it, braided it, danced and paraded it. It was a fuzz frenzy, a fuzz fiesta, a fuzz fandangle. The whole prairie was about fuzz, a buzz about fuzz. They picked and pruned and pulled and pinched. They pinched and pulled and pruned and picked. Until, what happened? It ran out. The fuzz ran out. That big round thing was fuzzless, naked as a plucked chicken. Plucked chicken. Some prairie dogs got a lot of fuzz. Some got a little. Some got no fuzz at all, and they were mad. Give me that fuzz. Why? Because it's my fuzz. Well, it was. Get that fuzz. Get that fuzz. Pulling, grabbing, swiping, nabbing, poking, jabbing. It was war. War between the fuzzes and the fuzz knots. Their peaceful town was a battleground. There's one of our words. It was a fuzz fight. A fuzz feud. Feud means fight. A fuzz fiasco. I started this, moaned Pipsqueak. I have to do something. Everyone stop. Stop fighting. But those prairie dogs didn't listen. The battle raged on, friend against friend, cousin against cousin, dog against dog, until no one was left standing. They were pooped, fuzzled out, fast asleep. Okay, we're going to pause there and we're going to read the rest of the story when we get back from special.